All right, welcome back to my WASA EDR home project. So we've narrowed in now on the next asset or machine, which is this DVWA Win VM7. We narrowed in on that one because it had a large amount of hits in a certain time period right after. And the story of this VM is really just a bunch of false positives. Going through using resources, my DFIR resources, things like this, what's normal, what's not. Basically went through, and I'm going to save you the time because it's really kind of boring. And we just saw things like I saw a lot of things like an executable dropped in a root folder. We can narrow that out because I'm guessing we're getting those alerts because in a normal production environment, you would have a lot more hardening that would go on all your systems, and so all those things would be locked down. And so we saw things that were legitimate processes, legitimate, something like this right here, a legitimate process, but it's being executed. Um, Actually, not this one. This is a different one. Like this is our OSEC agent. So I'm going to guess we're getting alerts because maybe this, would be have more hardening in a normal environment. This one did catch my eye because when I first saw this, this made me a little nervous because anytime I see LSA or LSAS, I start to get a little nervous. And this looks like it was a script that maybe is running from our OSEC agent, and our OSEC agent is actually querying what our local security authority policy is. And these are all legitimate processes, so I'm going to kind of filter all these out. Again, right here we see this sysmon, service host suspicious process. After a bunch of research after that, off camera, everything looks pretty typical. Everything's TAC-K parameters. It's all coming from the correct file path. And so I think those are all just false positives as well, even though it's getting a high alert level of 12. And when you Google these ones, again, typically, according to our resources, anything with a TAC-K is pretty typical right here. And it does say malware authors often take advantage of this ubiquitous nature of service hosts and use it to either host a malicious DLL or as a service or run malicious named. So we're going to check, make sure nothing's kind of spelled funny. Which is one of the things you could do. I also had some other notes from a great Try Hack Me room. Let me look those up real fast. It kind of tells us what to do. We have our service host right here. Here's the image path that is normal. And again, we looked at ours. If we compare that, it is the same one. System 32, service host. So that looks legit. So again, I feel like these are pretty legit, maybe some false positives. So I'm going to filter these out. And I hopefully, maybe someone will message and say, no, Mario, you just totally missed something really important. I'm going to filter out all these system logons because I think they look legit. Again, this was kind of the story of this VM, was just a bunch of false positives. Okay, I did see some of these things here. New creation services. Again, did a bunch of research off camera, and a lot of these things looked very normal. So I think these are all false positives. The one thing I do see that I want to make a note of, same thing here. I checked all these scripting files off camera. They're all coming from legitimate processes. The thing I think we're getting an alert off this one is because it's coming from a user's directory. And I think that is because in a production environment, that would be hard and that wouldn't be happening. I did want to filter for that user that I saw, Johndoe, and this is kind of a funny one. This is the only thing on this one that I found that was a little concerning or funny. We see this window user logged on and log off. And the thing that makes this funny is because two things. This user really shouldn't be on this system. They should just be accessing it through HTTP. But for some reason, they're on this one. Another thing that kind of made me worried was I'm seeing how the timing. So this person logged on and logged off within milliseconds or seconds of each other. And that's a little concerning. That's funny. I'm going to check some SSHD because I thought I saw something in one of the logs. So let's just kind of filter that out too. Okay, I'm going to throw this into logon failure or unknown password. Let's see if anything comes up with that. And no, I'm also going to do very quickly on this system because the other asset was attacked with the HTTP protocol web attack, common web attack. I'm just going to search HTTP protocol and see if anything pops up. And nothing does. And so that's a little weird because of our attacker used, common web attack on the other asset, and now it's not here. So that tells me maybe it didn't work, or maybe they switched up their tactics, or maybe just nothing really happened to this one at all. or maybe concerning, maybe they were just able to get on there without having to do any exploits or anything else like that, and we're able to kind of stay under the radar. We're going to move on to our next asset, though.